In today's video, we're going to take a look at how I set myself up for a new year. We're going to do that by looking back and then looking forward. I'm going to be using a list journal and I'll be showing you that as well. Stay tuned for the plan and the program that I have put together to use. Hi everybody, it's Julie, and I have a little bit of a different video here. This is something I do every year, and I am going to go ahead and use my platform here to show you one of the ways that I set up for my new year. Even when a year has been a really hard year, a different year, a difficult year, could be exciting, all these different things. I have done this exercise or parts of it every year for 25 years, okay? And it really, how deep I do this has made a difference in how the outcome of goals and things that I have happened for me. So I have just taken my notes. These are literally my notes from last year, and I've added some other things that I usually do in my I for many years I just used a spiral notebook or a composition book to do this. But I have found that when something is pretty or I tend to use it more, first of all. Also, I can remember things by the other things that are around it. So the pretty pictures, the colors, the color of pens that I use, that kind of thing. So what I'm going to do is tell you how I set up for my next year by looking back at the one that just happened. Okay, so you might remember if you were here last year, this is the little book that I made last year. Luckily, I had stuck this. It was right in there. It was right where it was supposed to be. So this one will be going in the new book. It is a list journal is what I use. I don't add a whole lot of stuff to it, so it doesn't get bulky. But I surround myself with things that I love. This was an earring that was my mom's, and Daisy, and my mom's favorite color. Remember that in 2019 I lost both of my parents. It was devastating. It was a very hard year to get over. So what I did was 2019, and I felt like I was stuck in this place, and I was looking out the window to 2020. Who'd have guessed what we would get in 2020? Now, I don't know if you remember, but I made this, I believe I made this in September for a program that I was starting. Well, Tom also started working 6 days a week in September, and so my chores here, I ended up with more chores and things, and I have not had time to sit down and be able to do that program. You better believe I'm going to, because I just made the last payment on it. And anyway, this is the journal that I made for that. And the only thing is I had wrote in here, video, make sure private or enlisted when adding to tier. That's something to do with Patreon, okay? When I put a video in there. That's the only thing, the only place that I had used this. I think this is going to be perfect for my 2021. It has things that I love. This was from Happy Mail, and I'll try and find where I made this journal. And I had stickers in it, but look at all the pages I have in here. So I think this is going to be a great book for my 2021 It is my goal. I'm going to use it with this program that I made up, which is from several different things that I've ever done in my life. From just stuff that I got off the top of my head, books that I read, having an 18-year career with Mary Kay, and all of the people that I listened to because of that. My dad, who had his own business, was very successful, and I took some of the things that he did, that he taught me, mostly by osmosis, meaning it just rubbed off. He was doing it, I learned it. As well as some things that I've just recently learned and that I am incorporating. The majority of this, though, I have been doing for many, at least 15 years. A lot of it, 25. Okay? Okay, so I have my book, and you can see I have several list pages that I'm going to be able to write lists. Because for me, a big part of what I'm going to be teaching you is this is going to be the preparation, the getting ready, and this is going to be the fulfillment, my actual 2021. And look at here, I've got my mom's handwriting from a page that I cut out, and that just makes me happy. This was from one of my digital kits, and it was a bad printout. I printed a paper over the top of one of my, so I stuck it in there because, you know, I couldn't throw it away. This is also from Spring Blossom. It has a couple of embroidered pages in it. Okay, so that is what I'm going to be using. This is basically 8.5 by 11 papers folded this way. So let me find okay, 8.5 by 11 folded this way. You'll see that some of them I've folded up. Okay, I folded up. It's basically 8.5 by 8.5 papers is what I'll put in here, and my cover will be 9 by 6. Okay, so if you're wanting to build one, my cover is 9 by 6. I stuck one of the pockets that I had been gifted from I'm a Cool Mom in here, and I will probably put a couple of her other things in here as well. But and then I have a large pocket in the back. I did not do anything fancy. I have my bandage holding this. Look at, it's only a 3-hole pamphlet stitch. It is like the easiest thing ever. It was items that I love, and so that I will use it. So here, let's go ahead. One of the things I'm going to want to add is I'm going to want to put a flag. I need reminders everywhere to pray for our country, and so I am in the United States, so I am going to be adding that. I just picked that up off of the kitchen table. So the first thing that I do is I do a look back at the last year. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to look back at 2020, and I am going to write down 100 things that I did or I accomplished. So these can be, this is going to be a hard year for this. I've actually added some other things to help bring out some of the things that we can say I did or I accomplished. I put down the big, the small, on purpose, on accident, part way, all the way. So things that I got started, I got a good start on, and it's in motion. Things like that. I'm going to count those this year. So I'm going to be making a list of 100 things that I did. Okay, so there's part of my list from last year. Okay, and so to help me with this, I'm going to look around the house. I'm going to look around the yard. I'm going to look on Facebook and on Instagram. you know, for things that I, you know, maybe I fixed up a certain area around the house, what I'm doing is I'm getting myself set up to be able to make goals and to make them realistic and to set myself in the mood, because if I just went and started doing this, I might not make my goals big enough. I might not make them realistic. But by looking at the things I've accomplished, I literally get an idea that, wow, I did that. I can move forward. And what happens is some of those things that I did back in March, April, May, I may have totally forgot about. And that might be the catalyst that's going to push me through that banner as I come out onto the playing field of 2020. Okay? So, looking through your photos, that is a great place that I find things. You know, that we take pictures, or I do, of things that are monumental, things that are special, things that are breakthroughs, things that we're looking forward to, as well as things that we've done. Okay, so the next thing I want to look at, so I'm making this list. This might take me a week, and I might continue on it even through the next year, just because it's going to help me with my what I'm trying to do this year. Okay, was there balance? Okay, in family, friends, relationship, home, work, and hobby. If you have other things to add to that, add to that. If you want to break them down, you know, with just your spouse, or you want to add your animals in there. What do you want to put in there? So was there balance? I can tell you this year, no, there was not balance. So that is definitely something I'm going to want to work on, possibly. Okay, so looking at the 100 things I did, the big, the small, on purpose, on accident, all of them. Okay, now I'm going to look at last year's want list, goals or wants. Which ones did I meet or accomplish? So from my last year, from looking back at the year before, I set up a goal and want list. That I want in my life, things I want to do, things I want to finish, habits, things I want to work on, and I have that list. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to put down, you know, did I meet that? Did I accomplish that? Did I open the door and I'm working on that? Did I totally forget about it? So on a separate piece of paper, I'm going to put the things that I did not meet. Okay, so I have my met and accomplished. I'm gonna make a list of that in my new journal. Okay, of the met. The not met, I'm going to make a list of that on a separate piece of paper. And then I want to look at the obstacles. And it looks like it takes a lot of time, but it doesn't really take a lot of time once you get into doing this. After you've made your lists, you're gonna be ready. Okay, so note the obstacles. Okay, why did this not get met? Did I really want it? So I use a heart with the little symbol. No, I didn't. And I'll put that. Did I change my mind, my course, or my direction? You know, my hobbies have changed. You know, things happened. We had puppies, and literally that has taken up area of my time because she had the puppies up. Anyway, so my course and my direction has changed, and something had to give in my very busy life for me to have time to be grandma to those puppies and make sure that everything was working out the way it should. Do I see a pattern in what I did and what I didn't do? One year, I have things that I do to help me reach goals. A lot of things that I set in motion. Not so much lately because I haven't had goals like that lately. But there was a time when I really wanted to marry Mr. Fisher. And so, but at the same time, I was working with a coach. And she had me, I was working with this coach, and I was working my Mary Kay business, and I was setting goals. Now, one thing that's happened in my life is I set pretty audacious goals. I mean, I set big goals. They are realistic to me, and I know that I can get there. But, things have happened, and sometimes I haven't. But this particular timing, I was not reaching any goal. I mean, nothing. I was not reaching any business goal whatsoever. Even the little ones I was not meeting them. And so my friend was becoming a coach, and she asked me to be one of her first guinea pigs. So we were going through the process, and we're doing like a look back after a few visits, and we realized that I was not concentrating on this stuff. My goals, everything that I had was set to marry Mr. Fisher, and to make sure that I was the best I could be in that relationship. It was a long distance relationship, and it did take compromise and priority. It was my priority. Quite honestly, it was my priority. I was doing well enough in my business that I was able to take care of myself and all my everything that I needed to take care of. But all this was, my focus was on Mr. Fisher. So that's how I see a pattern. Was there something I wanted more? So I always look at that because, was there an obstacle? Did I have to stop everything and take care of my dad? That happened. And now, we're dealing with an estate. Did something happen like what has happened in 2020? That it's a fork in the road, and we've had to make decisions and change and things. So, paying attention to what your goals were, and and you didn't meet them. Well, why? What happened? So anyway, that's one of the things that I do this. Okay. So I look at each item and I decide, do I want to add this to 2021? Is it something that I still want to accomplish? Do I want to accomplish it in 2021 also? So, and then I can add it there. Do I want to take it off the table? Is it no longer important to me? Is it no longer accessible? Does it not make sense? Okay. And then after I've done that, I take that paper and I put it in an envelope, and I'll put it in last year's journal. So I'll put it in here after I go through and do that. Put it in here, and I don't need to look at it unless there's a reason for me to look at it. I still have it. I'm not going to burn it or anything like that. I'm going to keep it. But I don't have to look at it. Okay. So now I'm going to go back to my list of 100 accomplishments for 2021. Okay. So I have my list, and then I'm going to be, this is the accomplishments from 2020. And I'm going to put a heart if I was committed to it. A little circle, wrote it down, let it happen. That means I didn't concentrate on it, but wow, it happened. Little one, stepped up, overcame obstacle to shine. Square, little things help big things happen. So some of the little goals, as I'm getting to the big goals, some of these little goals are the little steps to eating that elephant one bite at a time. Okay, so there's that. The 2 stars, a result from a committed goal. Okay, so some things are going to happen because I'm committed to this goal. I am committed to a video on this channel every day. Okay, and other things happen because I'm committed to a video on this channel every day. Okay, and then this star, 1 star, means it happened, and it happened on purpose. Okay, I just want to get a grip, to get a feel for how things that I did accomplish, how did they happen? Okay, so that's my look back. We're going to continue to look it back, and I'm going to have a page in here. It says, I am most proud of, and what accomplishments am I most proud of? What things about me or that I did am I most proud of? I am surprised that this happened. Whatever happened in that year, it can be the good, the bad, the ugly. I am so surprised this happened. But I would save the top of this for your positive. Okay, so if something happened and it surprised you, okay, and then you want to choose the 10 most outstanding goals or wants that were met, and then write their story if you have time or if you want to. Okay, that just puts you in the place of looking at those things that you are so proud of. They're your favorite things that happened. You know, look at why. Why are they your favorite things? Were they relationship issues or related? Were they commitment related? Were they business related? What are these things that gave you so much joy that they made your top 10 list? Okay? And now we're going to go ahead and we're looking forward. So we've done our looking back. Our looking back gives us this place. A lot of times we forget that we did something and we kept doing it, and that is an accomplishment. Okay? I get up every day and I make my husband a lunch at 4 o'clock in the morning. It's a commitment that I made. He didn't ever ask. It's just something that I did. And I do it every day. And that commitment, if you want to be, I mean, it started out, he got up at 10 minutes to 6, okay? When we were first married, he got up at 10 minutes to 6. He now gets up at 3:45. I get up at 4 o'clock. But there are several things that happen because I made that commitment. I have 4 extra hours in my day on the days that he works, because otherwise I get up at like 8. So back on here when it was, you know, it's as a result from a committed goal, there you go. I have 4 extra hours in my day every day because I get up and I make his lunch every day. So, yeah. Okay, so now we're going to look forward and we're going to start writing our 100 items down. And these can be anything. They can, again, relationships, projects that you want to do, home projects, business ideas, business building ideas. This can be health, fitness, wellness. It can be inspiration or image. All of these things can be in your 100 items that you want to accomplish or finish or have in 2021. Some of the things have been that I wanted to visit all of our grandkids. That was on mine for this year. That did not happen. We, you know, as of March 7th, we've not pretty much been allowed to go anywhere. So, so that didn't happen. And I don't think that it's not my fault. So anyway, so I'll do all those little things over here on and figuring that out. But it can be anything. So then I go back after I've made my list, and sometimes my list stops at like 88, and I just don't get 100. Sometimes I'll add, as I'm going through this, I'll add a couple things to it. That's fine too. And then I go through, this has to be done, okay? Is it realistic? I really want this with a heart. I know how to accomplish this, okay? So the circle can go around anything. I know how to get this. I know how, you know, because there's things that you might not want, or you might want, or you might want to do, or you might want to have, and you've never paid attention, or I've never looked at how would I get that? How would I make that happen? So that's just a little extra thing I do. And then some of them, timeline, okay? Because what is it? A goal is just a thought unless it has a timeline, you know, it has a time. You got to have a time set to it. I don't usually, I haven't the last couple years gone through and put time on them, but I can tell you that the years that I've gone through and put time on, more things have happened, and they've happened within that time, okay? Then I look over the list. Is there something I have total control over to get it done, okay? On my list, do I have every necessary means to get that done, okay? Meaning numbers, which is, you know, I've got the means of whether it's dollars or it's people. Do I have the amount of time? And do I have the action? Can I make it done? So some of the things that I've put in that category, say a video a day, I have control over that. Unless the internet goes down, then, you know, we've seen what happens there. But a challenge each month, I have control over that. And so those are things that I have complete control. For me, I like to look and see that the list is balanced, okay? I don't want a list that's entirely business related or entirely relationship related, because if I'm constantly focused on just that, I'm going to get tired, and everything else is going to fall apart. So, and then I recommend color coding it if you like. Color coding is a great way to have things get finished. Okay, so after you've got your list going or done, you want to pick 10 items that you most want to happen. What will it take to get there? And ask again, is this something that you have to do? Is it realistic? Do you really want it? And do you know how to get it or to get it done? Pick 2 or 3 to concentrate on and put things in motion for the others. So, you know, you've got your, I'm going to do a video every day. I'm going to do the challenge each month. Last year I wanted to, I forget how I put it, but it ended up being Patreon. I wanted a membership entity for my Dear Julie, and so I was able to put together or subscription. So I was able to get to put together the Patreon, and so I get to check that off. Actually, I get to check it off in a few things, because Patreon actually, the goal was this, and a couple other things happened because of that. Okay, and let's see. I got this out of order. Okay, it goes like this. Sorry. Okay, so we So this was supposed to be part of when you're looking at it. So when you're looking back, you want to also look at your goals and your wishes that were met, okay? And the obstacles that you had, and then your hardest accomplishment is one of the things, okay? Other questions. And what I did is I have a page in here where I answered these questions. And so what do you want to focus more on in the coming year? And so, you know, do I want to focus more on my business? Do I want to focus on relationships? You can be as specific as you want to be. I know for me that by writing it down, very much when I write things down, it helps to make things happen. So what do I want to focus more on in the coming year? I'm not necessarily going to tell you what these things are. A lot of it is very personal for me, for a couple of reasons. One of the things is my whole outlook may change in the middle of the year or even next week. And I don't want these things out there and have them hanging over my head. So, to be honest, but I will put it in my book. So what habits do you want to keep and trash? Okay, so what habits do I have in place? What habits are good and what habits are bad? What would I like to keep? And what would I like to trash? And then making an affirmation for habits. And adding it, because I do, in my successful years, I have had an affirmation that I have said at various times of the day, and it will encompass a lot of these different things. So I will write an affirmation specifically for the habits. It will be written in a positive, like it's already happening, I'm doing it. Yet very realistic. So, not, I make $5,000 every day. It's not a habit, but you know, it's like for reality for me would not at this point today, if I said I make $5,000 every day, that other part of my brain is going, no, you don't. Okay. So it's totally conquering the good part. So I want it to be realistic. It can be, you know, a push above, but I want it to be realistic. So what do you want to, and for last year, because this was written last year. Okay, remember, this is can you see the 2019? This is the same thing that I did my video. I used the same prompt. My word last year was resolved. You guys, I had to go look up what my word was, because you know what? Come March, I totally forgot. And so this year my word is order. So what do you want to have? And I'm gonna put order. What do you want to have? I use my word in this part. Okay, so my word of the year is order. I want to take the chaos that my world is in and put it into order. Okay. After losing both my parents last year, I have brought a lot of their stuff to my house. There's chaos because of that. There's chaos because I just didn't deal with things that I should have been dealing with in my head, in my home, and all over the place. So that is that. So, and then I want to write an affirmation for the word. Okay, see the word? So affirmation for order. And then the last thing is, what do you hope to say about 2021? So what I did last year is I wrote a list, and then I wrote to myself, like I was going into 2022, or going into 2021, what I saw and my look back at 2020. And I'll tell you, it's very different than what we really lived. That's for sure. So anyway, I'm looking forward to getting this started. I have my little journal here. And so the first thing I'm going to be doing, I'm going to take this out because that is just driving me crazy. It has nothing to do with what we're doing here. So let's go to the, very easy, just take the both sides of it out, okay? And now I have a totally brand new clean journal. So I will be going through and numbering through 100. Okay, and I will be writing down my accomplishments, and that is how I will start. Okay. Accomplishments 2020. Okay, and basically I did a video every day. We had a couple of glitches, our internet thing, but I'm going to consider that I did a video every day. And so, and that was, now we can remember, usually I do the list and then go back, but I'll show you. We'll go ahead and come to I was committed. Okay, I was committed, and that's how that got done every day. Video every day. Challenge every month. I was committed. It happened. Okay. Tom's lunch every day. Committed. Okay. So, and then I'll make my key. I'll have the key, and it'll be over here also, so that I don't have to keep looking at this page. Okay. So I'm just going to go through. I planted a garden this year. Guess what? I had written it down. I wasn't going to. You guys, in March, I wasn't going to do a garden. I was like, no, I don't have time. I'm not going to do a garden. I did a garden. And it was very successful. It was amazing. So, planted a garden. I went to a Tony Robbins event. It was virtual because that's the only way you could go. But I went to a Tony, that's been on my bucket list for a long time, and I've actually been to 4 or 5 events this year, virtually. And so, but there's going to be several other things on here that I will just be able to write on here. I rescued a dog. Rescued Wiley. Okay. I consider that an accomplishment. Very much so. I'm even going to put things like decorated for Christmas. Started my DIY channel. Now, did I get to do a whole lot with that? No, but I started it. I was committed. Okay, so I will be going through and I will be doing that, and I'm pretty excited. Okay, so this is, I guess it's kind of, it's my setup for goals. And for goals, you know, it doesn't, for me, it doesn't have to be monetary. I just want to always be moving forward. And I know that things are not going to happen if I just wait for them to happen. Okay? Things like new flooring, which we really, really need in this house, is not going to happen unless some other things happen for it to happen. And so those kind of goals are what I'm looking for in my little book here. So I hope you'll check that out. I'm going to see if I can find last year's video, and it talks about how I set up last year's book. And you know, I wasn't really super good about using this, but when I did, it was very helpful, and it's been very helpful as I go forward, that I did take the time to write these things in there. So I am looking forward to 2021. What is it they say? On January 1st, 2021, we can finally really get a 2020 at 2020. 2020, for many ways, has been a very good year for us at our house, and at the same time has not. And, you know, we talk about balance, and I think for a lot of people this year that we all find ourselves out of balance. And so I'm looking forward to order and balance in 2021. And I'm really glad that you're here, and I look forward to us all celebrating and finding something to celebrate every day of 2021. Have an amazing day. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Bye-bye. I'm going to go make my list. Bye.